This is Total Telecom at CommunicAsia. I'm talking to Steven Soenens of Newtec. Steven, we've not spoken to Newtec very often before. Let's start by telling us about the company and what you're doing here in Singapore.
Good afternoon. Welcome. I'm pleased to be here, of course. So Newtec is an equipment manufacturer for the satellite ground segment. Within CommunicAsia now here, we are introducing some major new innovations. First is on the DVB-S2X, so the new standard coming up. And most important is the introduction of a new system which we call Newtec Dialog.
Tell us about Dialog, and I think the first example is a very exciting demo of 4K TV. Give us a bit more insight.
Yes, on the 4K TV, there's a lot of buzz, obviously, on the show on 4K. We are actually participating in 2 live demonstrations here on the show, using our infrastructure, satellite infrastructure, obviously. First, we have a nice demo showing 4K TV together with Intelsat and a couple of other partners. And you can see that live here on the big screens. And second, we are doing a first live transmission of the DVB-S2X standard, also transmitting 4K TV together with Miasat. So the big 4K TV demos here on CommunicAsia are really supplied by Newtec for the satellite part.
Sounds very exciting. Tell us about Dialog again. What's Dialog?
Dialog is basically what is called a multi-service platform, and that's a difficult name for a satellite platform that is very flexible to adapt to future needs. So if you look at the satellite industry, very often the lifetimes of the satellites are very long. It takes a couple of years to develop the satellites, and then they stay in orbit for 10 to 15 years. So that's a very long time to plan your business upon. So what we did with Newtec Dialog is basically build a platform that is flexible to adapt to new customers, to new services going forward, ranging from traditional internet broadband for consumer, to enterprise broadband, to high-speed links for oil and gas and mining industry as an example, but also for the traditional broadcast and IP trunking industries.
Yes, now talking about broadband, I mean, people don't really realise, I don't think, that satellite is very, very much part of the telecom sector in terms of meeting broadband with demands and also mobile. You guys are doing a lot in telecoms, aren't you, already?
We are indeed, and even though it's niche market, it's very often it's in the rural areas that we are very active, but we are very active providing internet services all over the world. Definitely in Asia we see a strong demand, and in Africa we see also a strong demand. And that is largely driven by a new capacity that becomes available on satellites, which is cost effective, because in the end the services for consumers need to be cost effective. So we've seen a lot of new launches on Ka-band satellites where capacity is cost effective, also on Ku in this region here, and together with our Dialog system with very cost effective terminals for the consumers, there we enable a new business coming up to provide more and more internet services to consumers, together of course with the traditional video services. If you think of, for instance, what's happening in the United States now with the merger of AT&T together with DirecTV, basically merging together video services with all kinds of telephony and internet services, we see the exact same thing happening now on an all-satellite network.
Well, it sounds like it's all happening on the stand. I'm going to have to tear myself away from the studio and come and see it, but in the meantime, thanks very much for joining us.
Okay, thanks very much.